Good morning, Nigeria, and welcome to Enterprise Weekend, reaching you from Enterprise Television. This is a virtual edition, and we're very so glad to have you today. Please do well to be part of what we do. Have a say in what we say. You can always find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. We're very so honored to have with us, joining us via Zoom from Asaba, Delta State, Nigeria, Barrister Ufeli, a barrister, law public affairs analyst, to see through all that we have from our newspapers today. Good morning, Barrister, and welcome.
Good morning to you.
Thank you
and
so
good morning,
very much
viewers.
for your time.
Very well.
Yes. All right. So let's kickstart today without much ado, and we're starting off with the Saturday Vanguard newspaper, and we have the big story here: Constitution review. Let our votes account. Nigeria demands the votes must account. And we have a couple of writers to that particular story. Calls for real electoral reforms. Say power must shift from Abuja to the people. Ensure physical autonomy returns to 1963 Constitution. That's coming from the Niger Delta. Niger Deltans tell a federal government restructure now on risk collapse. Southeast orders warn. From north to south, stakeholders ask for power shift to regions. And below that particular story, because I would love us to merge that together, Lagos, 13 parties shown peace accord as residents elect council chairman, councillors today. So, Barrister, let's take a look at these two stories. If it's possible, let's merge them because they are very so connected. Today, the Lagos state government is having its LG elections, and we all know it's an APC election because there are no oppositions whatsoever. Now, don't you think that is in line with what we have today? Let our votes count. Do you think that the votes of Lagosians would count as they go out for their local government elections today?
It's not an APC election. It's not an APC election. There are other political parties, many of them. Okay. On a radio interview not too long ago, some weeks back, I was privileged to join an interview session where we interviewed some of the aggrieved party members who were disgruntled by the way LASEC was handling the whole process. So from there, I got to know that we have a lot of political parties other than the APC. Okay, so I think it is rather that I say that it's a local government election that is going to take place today, which includes the APC and other political parties. Okay, we know that the APC is the ruling party in Lagos, and so there's a tendency for them to want to use incumbency to influence the process. They have a higher capacity when it comes to campaigning because they have resources. They have a higher visibility because they are incumbent. They have so many things going for them as an advantage. But that notwithstanding, you also have other political parties who has also one or two of them that won seats too in the past, in the councillor and in the council chairman level, okay, as it were. So the election is not going to be different from the normal Nigerian election because, I mean, the contestants are Nigerians, the voters are Nigerians, their sect is populated by Nigerians. So the usual idiosyncrasy will play out. I mean, that is given, except anything has changed overnight, which I hardly believe so. The last time we had this outing, the APC won almost all the seats, except for a few seats that were won by one or two that won by other political parties. Okay, now we are here again. What we are asking for, both at the center and the local government level, is that sovereignty should belong to the people, like the Constitution says. The people should determine who lead them at every level, whether local government level, state level, or the federal level. But that has not happened in Nigeria. It has not happened at the center. It has not happened at the state. It has not happened at the local government. Okay? So INEC is not involved at the local government. INEC is only involved at the state level and at the federal level. So if we say that is because of INEC that our elections are not properly conducted, our votes don't count, and all that. How about LASEC? What we talk about LASEC and other state electoral bodies that conduct elections for state council elections and the local government elections? Are we going to blame INEC also for their own inadequacy or for the level of rigging, malpractice that play out at that level too? So those are the questions we need to ask ourselves critically, whether truly this is an election or a selection process, or we're just there out there on a charade, on an exercise that is already determined. Okay? Because from history, in the years past, we have seen that it's just an exercise where government go to waste money. Because most times the process is determined, even though you have other political parties struggling, going to court, pushing forth and all that. At the end of the day, they end up in a state courts. And then before you know it, you have problems there too and all that. So if we really want to change the process, to have an electoral reform, proper electoral reform, the people must be allowed to choose their leaders. The politicians don't allow the people to choose their leaders. That's the problem we have. So this is a call on the politicians to stay away from the process. To stay away from the process and allow the people who actually will be governed thereafter to determine who and who should govern them. This is not too much to ask for. But as you know, the politicians will never rest. They'll be going all over the place. They'll be moving around and all that. Just a few days ago, when I had to approach a bank to get some resources, I was made to understand that the currency is not available for anybody, that the politicians have swept everything for the local government election. And I was wondering, what do they need that currency for? Is it to buy the ballot paper? I mean, politicians, not LASEC now. The politicians have swept all the money. This is just an aside. So what do they need it for exactly? Is it to transport the people to come and vote, or to buy vote, or to do what? Your guess is as good as mine. Our process is, we are not ready for this democracy, and we have to do something about it.
Very, very true. Because of course, we do truly understand that the election is between several parties, but what we see on the ground is not the same. We already have a situation where some people are asking other people to go back to their states, that local government election is meant for negotiations and not for anyone else. But of course, it's still a very burning issue that we do not know when all of this would end. But let's take a look at other matters coming from the Vanguard newspaper. Is Shettima rebelling against Tinubu? No, according to the presidency, his remark not linked with Fubara. Barrister, what do you have to say about this? It's becoming very known to everyone now that there seems to be a very subtle rift between Shettima and Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Do you see that already?
I think so. Because the way Shettima made the statement in that book launch, he made that statement, he had made the statement before he realized where he was and before perhaps he realized his position. Yeah, he made a statement like an ordinary analyst, just like an analyst will make expressions, argue that even though he was right in the statement, but given his position and his designation in the country, you will see that he couldn't have made that statement if their relationship were cordial. Even though he got to realize the damage or the far-reaching effect of that statement later on, and then came back to want to do the damage control. The damage control did not work because the message has been passed already. There's definitely a rift between the president and the vice president. That nobody can tell me anything about it. And that gaslight came out as a result of a lot of the abundance of the heart. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. You understand? Especially when we have an underlying rumor, even though rumor is not supposed to be part of analysis, but there's an underlying rumor that is going to be dropped in 2027. for another candidate. So perhaps that has gotten into him, or some other issues like the issue of Tinubu that trended before, being given preference over the vice president, and some other issues. So many of those issues have been there. We've seen that Shettima has not been in the forefront for a while now. At the inauguration, he told us that he was going to handle the security issue. He will handle the economy and the president handle security, or the other way around. I can't remember. But because also the government have failed, he may also be looking for a way to stay clear from the stark grand style failure of Tinubu. So I don't know exactly what he's thinking and what he is up for or up against, or what is up to, as it were. But what you cannot take away from this conversation is that all is not well with Shettima and the president. All is not well. Something sinister, something very. In the days to come, it will be clearer what that thing is exactly. Whether it's tied to 2027, whether it's tied to lack of cohesion, or inclusivity in the governance. We'll get to know in the days to come.
Very, very true, because this seems to be a repeat of Olusegun Obasanjo and Atiku Abubakar. But on this part, Bola Tinubu is very bullish when it comes to politics and everything surrounding that. But just like you say, it's a developing story, and we will get to, of course, know more about that if President Bola Tinubu might likely have to change Shettima, whom lots of people have said he has no electoral value. Do you think Shettima truly has no electoral value?
I mean, it doesn't have the clout. It's quite clear. It doesn't have the clout. Apart from Borno State, it does not appeal to any class of persons across any state. Someone like Atiku, for example, appeals to a lot of people, even though not to me. Shettima, apart from maybe his village, there's no other place where he gets grandstanding ovation in terms of likability, visibility, and political capital to war chest what Nigeria has to offer. You understand that? It doesn't have it. And that's quite clear. If you see Tinubu as much as he's vilified and the rest of that, he has a cross-section-wide appeal across the country. A lot of people, no matter the situation, try to by their own volition, support him, and in a way, he has a far-reaching effect, but not Shettima. Shettima does not have it. So whatever it is the APC think they want to do with him, and it's up to them. It's up to them, and it's also up to him to react the way he wants to react.
Very true. This is truly going to be a very a big fracas or fight between the opposition party and the APC. If Atiku plays with Peter Obi, Tinubu most obviously would love to see another very thick politician on his own side too. So it could, of course, balance. But let's see how that works, Joe. Let's move straight to the Weekend Trust newspaper and straight to the talking point. Rat infestation claim at Villa was a cover for Buhari's illness. Garba Shehu. Barrister Ufeli, are you surprised that so many things are beginning to come up now that Muhammad Buhari is out of the seat of authority? I remember when this was the biggest story, we all thought it was normal rat infestation, and therefore we needed people, fumigators, to go do their job. Now it's coming out that there is a Trojan story behind that.
That the rats, I didn't get the headline.
Yes,
Can you
that the
cite the
rat
headline again?
infestation. You truly do remember the rat infestation
Yes,
at
yes,
the
I
villa.
remember very well. Yeah, I remember very well.
Yes. So now we are
Yes.
beginning to unfold why it happened. Garba Shehu is stating that it was actually a cover-up for Tinubu's illness.
For Tinubu's illness or for
Sorry,
Buhari's illness?
For Buhari's illness, sorry. Yes, for
No, yeah,
Buhari's
because
illness.
you see, yeah, because as at the time when that thing was, we doubted it. I for one doubted that Aso Rock is not close to the forest or the what do you call it, the wasteland or an area where it's unkept, where rats can easily gain access. It's not dirty. It's not. It's not. I mean, a lot of lies were told while he was sick, just so they can control the media, control the minds of the people, and put them under certain levels of stability to avoid agitations. The same thing happened when Yaradua died. They cover up the story. When they finally brought him into the country, it was at the dead of the night. They off the light at the airport. Okay, there was an order that the light be off at the airport, immediately the plane landed and the rest of that. So we know all that happened. The level of lies, sometimes when memos leak, you now see how we are being ruled with a lot of deceit, lies, and all that. I knew that story was false. And Garashew is saying that now for who? For who to use to do what? Is he now pro the people when he was among the handlers who cooked up that? Because as far as I'm concerned, he was in the media team, and they are the one that released press statements on behalf of the president. So he was part of those who released that information with additional and the rest of them. Okay, so now he's telling us that it was a make-up story, a cook-up story for what? So that we'll do what now? We use the story to go and do what? To go and vilify Buhari, who's no longer the president, or what? So this is the testament to the fact that not only are you impoverished, not only are you told lies, but you are also misgoverned with misinformation. The government impoverished the people, misinformed them with deceit, lies, and so many, things that you cannot imagine. So this is the fate of the people. This is the fate of the people. Until the people rise and say no to all this, it will continue. This is the same Buhari that was touted to be a man of integrity and the rest of that. And then it is expected that he will get handlers who will convey integrity. But what we saw throughout that administration is nothing to write home about.
Very sad one. I just really hope that as time goes by, we would have many more revelations on all that had happened, especially the COVID-19 fund and everything that went down at the time and more. But let's go to the Saturday Punch just before we call it a day for this particular segment. Ex-diplomats differ on federal government's response to U.S. visa restriction. But Ufeli, it's been a ping-pong situation with this visa restriction between Nigeria and the United States of America. We have it now. It's a 3 months, one entry for Nigerians who desire to travel to the United States from July 8th, I would love to believe. I would love to know, what do you think this would do to Nigerians whose genuine interest is to legitimately access the United States of America?
Well, this is when I saw the news, I was shocked because U.S. is part of my destination. I live partly in the U.S., so that even though I'm not in that category, I have a 10 years visa, so I'm not in the category. It's for those who are going to. It will take effect from now. I mean, from the coming this thing, and so you now have you no longer have multiple entry. You now have a 3 months visa. So what it means is that if you have the visa, you go once. If you want to go again, you have to go and apply again for another one. And after 3 months, it's expired. So as against before now, where they will give you 5 years and then give you 10 years, and the rest of that. And they cited reciprocity because to get the Nigerian visa is very tough. And that is one of the mishaps we have. We have not been able to properly govern our country. And then we put serious restriction as to who should come in and who should not come in. And we make the restriction across board. Whether you are from a first world country or you are from a third world country, you just make it across board. And across board will mean that there are a lot of Americans who have been rejected visa to come into Nigeria. They've been refused visa to come into Nigeria. You understand? Not like they are coming to one gold mine, Sometimes they are coming for tourism, they are coming for some other things. Sometimes they're even coming for economic activities. Okay, but our visa regime is so strict. It's so strict, you begin to wonder. So what they did now is just to serve us this in the measure of our own coin. And for me, it's very pathetic because America is where we go to cool off when we are when we are unable to continue with the stress we face here. We go to the US, we go to the UK to cool off. Now you are introducing this. Before you know it, the likes of Canada and the rest of them go that way, and things are getting tighter by the day. International relation is stifled by, especially countries that don't have anything to offer, like Nigeria. Have nothing to offer, really. Sorry to say that, but that's the reality. We should be able to make room for foreigners to come in, because it's through that they can find a reason to invest here. But if we close our doors and then we expect them to open theirs, under international law and diplomacy, there's what they call reciprocity. You set a policy so stringent against the country. The country turns around and just copy that policy and serve it back to you. That's exactly what has happened here. And so it's terrible. A terrible condition to us, especially because we are the ones who go there for better life, to give birth, to search for greener pasture and the rest of that. Even though they do on very special occasions where they come for oil exploration and all that. But I do not think this decision, this policy is favorable to the Nigerian, because the American visa is very strict. You can have it now and you apply the next time and they will refuse you. Yeah. The fact that you have been to the US before is not a ground that when you are reapplying, you will get it. So whether you have been there, you didn't run away, you didn't overstay your welcome, you stay by the rules, you applied, or you didn't commit any crime there, you came back, your visa expired, you go and apply again, you might be rejected. So it's not certain that you always get. So that's why I think this is not, for me, it was painful, very painful. But what do you do is the policy of the country, especially when it is quoted to be anchored on reciprocity.
But apart from that, on the side of the people now, do you think that the U.S. consulate should do something about those that have had their visas rejected? We have data that states that 5 million Nigerians apply every single year, and just 500,000 are given visas. It's equally been stated, according to statistics, that the U.S. consulate makes 1.5 billion naira every day from Nigeria. Do you think it's okay for the U.S. to say, okay, for those that weren't able to get visas, we might at least refund a part of whatever money they paid, about $160 per application? Did you think it's okay if the United States should say, okay, we get 5 million every year? Those that are not able to get visas, we might maybe take 50% and give them back 50% of the fee.
Yeah, I think so. I think there should be soft landing for people you reject visa. If you don't give you visa, why take the entire fund? So I think something should be done about that. But you know, that cannot be decided by just one person. It is the country itself that will look into it and say, okay, because sometimes too many of the people who apply, but when they get to the visa interview decks, and they are unable to convince the interviewer. Interviewers see that they really don't have whatever they are going to do there. They just, and they turn them down. There's a need to actually refund. If you ask me, there's a need to do so. Even though they process your visa, they process it through certain level before you appear for interview. So they have worked in a way, but if they are not giving, then they should take half of the money as for work done and refund the other because of the lack of because the service fee now is about 300,000. You pay that first before you now do the rest, and all the money you pay put together is much. So, given that, I think it's right that they should at least recompense those who apply, and they return part of it to them. I think that should be the case.
All right, please, in 60 seconds, if we may, still on the Punch newspaper, the current DG of NNPC is hoping to put up whatever interest that the NNPCL might be sold because of what the Dangote said, despite $18 billion spent on servicing the refinery, it's still not a working refinery. Do you think this might be an opportunity for Dangote to want to own our national assets?
Is it the NNPCL that should be sold or the refinery?
No, the refineries, Kaduna, Warri, Port Harcourt Refinery, owned by NNPCL.
Yes, even the experts have said it that refinery cannot work. Cannot work no matter how much you put into it. And Dangote complemented that just this week by saying that trying to make those refineries to work is like getting a new engine, you put it in an old body of a vehicle. That the engine will be working perfectly, but the body will not be able to carry the engine. So that refinery, first and foremost, is no longer the type of refinery that is built today. There's a lot of innovation that has gone into. There's AI technology. There's a lot of technology now. So why you still waste money in that moribund refinery? That even if you get it started, it may not work perfectly. It may work for a few days and break down again. So why don't you sell it off? Sell it off to someone who can have it processed as scrap, or sell it off to someone who can refurbish, repackage, or someone who wants to just use the plant to develop a new one. That's what the federal government need to do. Because true, the federal government have demonstrated over the years that it cannot manage a refinery. It cannot manage a refinery. That's exactly what it is. So the refinery have been there as a conduit pipe for looters. From the days of 2012, Alice in Madwekwe, from the days of turnaround maintenance, to the days of whatever English they use to embezzle money. They put in so much, budgeted so much, spent so much. Nothing is coming out from it. It's unable to refine anything. Kerosene, diesel, nothing. So why should we still pump money into it? So Dangote just said the truth. Let's, whatever it is, sell it to private investors. Okay, at least when 100% of our crude oil is being refined here, and we're no longer exporting at all, it will have a way of touching that price, because it will reduce, since you have cut off exports, the cost of export, excise duty, and the others. It will definitely come down the price. Okay, so that is only what we need to do. There's no reason flogging a dead horse. A dead horse is a dead horse. Once it's dead, you disengage, sell it off, and do something else with the funds. Use the funds to invest either in education or in healthcare. Let the private sector handle oil refinery in the country.
All right, I think that's okay for now. Ordinarily, all of this decision would have been taken by the substantive Minister of Petroleum, And coincidentally, our Minister of Petroleum and Natural Resources is the president himself. We do not know if this will be okay by him and vetoed by him, but let's keep watching. And right here on Enterprise Television, we promise to bring you updates as it unfolds. That's just about the time we have today. Thank you so very much, Barrister, for being here. We truly do appreciate you.
Very well, it's my pleasure.
All right. So, people, we have to call it quick for now on this particular segment. But of course, we'll be right back on our main conversation. That is when we return. 4.5 trillion diverted as federal government delays Supreme Court order on direct local government allocation. And we'll be having Adiola Shoyinton, journalist, public affairs analyst, to see through some of them. Please do well to follow us. If you haven't, you can always reach us at enterprisetvnews.com. And equally, you can visit us and rewatch all that we have going on right here at Enterprise TV 7. I am Henry Igwebike. Thank you, and we'll see you soon.